In all circles there is someone who presents himself as the most virtuous but accumulates more stories than a librarian, and many who pretend to be brave but their manhood vanishes when drunkenness betrays them. Learning to motivate and encourage yourself is essential. Expecting someone else to lift your spirits is like expecting rain from the sky. To those who criticize or judge you for your accomplishments, ignore them and move on. Often, the most talkative are the first to fall, so better learn to avoid gossiping without having a solid basis for it. It's during hard times, whether it's a lack of money, health problems, or a never-ending rut, that you find out who's really there for you and who's just noise. Loyalty often evaporates when the benefits run out. For many, you are only important when they need something from you. Therefore, it is crucial to take care of your surroundings and be selective with your relationships. Be patient with the fool and the coward. One needs restraint not to screw up, and the other to face the consequences. Everyone lives with the choices they make, so choose wisely between stagnating in misery or moving toward prosperity. Trying to justify the unacceptable behaviors of others only perpetuates mediocrity. Don't waste your time with hypocrites who only add toxins to your life. It is essential to accept the ephemerality of our fame after death and learn to live without seeking constant approval. The new rule is, listen to those who inspire you and are where you want to be, and stay away from bragging and gossip. Don't let criticism stop you. Keep going while the dogs bark. I hope you will soon tire of giving your all for someone who doesn't value you. The past is a lesson, the present an opportunity, and the future a promise. As my grandmother used to say, he who doesn't remember you, doesn't deserve to occupy your mind. Dance to the rhythm that makes you happy, even if some people don't like your dance. Sending certain people to hell is not contempt, it is showing them the way to their own redemption. If you ignore the signs that your partner is flirting with others, you are sowing destruction in your marriage. A man who has not faced the whirlwind of his passions has never conquered them. Happiness is the only treasure that is multiplied by sharing it. Those who value too much the opinions of others end up paying too high a price for it. If we suspect someone is lying, it is better to pretend to believe them, as this will encourage them to lie more fervently and eventually they will be unmasked. Our words may not change the world directly, but they do have the power to transform people, and they, in turn, can change the world. Youth often err in believing themselves to be happier or more wretched than they really are. A wicked person never finds true happiness, for he is left alone with his own demons. Many know their unhappiness, but even more are unaware of their happiness. Goodness does not stop to judge the evil in others. The future comes slowly, the present fades fast, and the past remains unchanged. The wise do not seek solitude, but peace in the midst of bustle. The greatest folly is to sacrifice health for any other form of happiness. We can only be authentic when we are alone. If we do not love solitude, we will hardly love freedom. Being honest with oneself is the first step toward wisdom. Our greatest vulnerability lies in love. The virtuous man dreams of what the wicked man makes real. True love only flourishes where we can show ourselves vulnerable without fear. There is no authentic sensitivity to the world without feeling its pain. Man's main task is to know himself. True intelligence learns from everything and everyone, while mediocrity is content to learn from its own experiences. Circumstances do not define man, they only reveal his true character. Happiness is not sought outside, it always resides within. The right question often outweighs the right answer in importance. No one steps in the same river twice, for neither the river nor the man is the same. True security avoids gossip and trivial conflicts, and seeks understanding and harmony. Vanity speeches betray the fragility of the soul. Remaining calm and facing reality is the path to perfection. Challenges strengthen the mind, just as work strengthens the body. Everything we hear and see is an interpretation, not an absolute truth. What seems difficult is not necessarily impossible. Reflecting on our mortality helps us to live fully. The more honest men are, the less they suspect others. A low soul always presupposes the lowest motives for noble actions. Whenever you are about to find fault with someone, ask yourself the following question: what fault of mine is most like the one I am about to criticize? Reject your feeling of injury and the injury itself will disappear. Attack the wrong in you instead of attacking the wrong in others. Being deeply loved by someone gives you strength, while loving someone deeply gives you courage. Life is a series of natural and spontaneous changes. Don't resist them, that only creates sadness. Respond intelligently even to unintelligent treatment. Act without expectations. Never allow someone to be your priority as long as you allow yourself to be their choice. If you tell the truth, you don't have to remember anything. Never tell the truth to people who are not worthy of it. All you need in this life is ignorance and trust, then success is certain. The harder the conflict, the more glorious the triumph. Finish each day and be done with it, you have done your best. Some blunders and absurdities no doubt crept in, forget them soon. Tomorrow is a new day, you will start it serene and with a spirit too high to carry your old nonsense. Dare to live the life you've dreamed of. Go forward for yourself and make your dreams come true. Action may not always bring happiness, but without action, happiness is unattainable. One of the greatest discoveries of any generation is that a human being can change his life by changing his attitude. Dare to face life without fear. Believe that life is worth living, and that belief will help you materialize it. The greatest use of life is to invest it in something that will last beyond itself. Our perception of the world is determined by our actions and decisions. Darkness cannot be overcome by more darkness, only light has that power. Likewise, hatred cannot be overcome by more hatred, only love has the power to do so. In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. Those who do not seek happiness are the most likely to find it, for those who seek it often forget that true happiness lies in the welfare of others. The true search for truth involves questioning everything at least once in a lifetime. True freedom lies in how we respond to the circumstances around us. Every word and every silence carries weight in our lives. Those who take the longest to make promises are usually the most faithful in keeping them. Life is an eternal back and forth between the chains of freedom and the bonds of society. Those who judge others by their questions rather than their answers have a broader perspective on life. Despite adversity, we must never forget to enjoy life's small pleasures. Appreciate those who seek the truth, but keep a healthy distance from those who think they have found it. True wisdom comes from knowing how to appreciate what we have and finding happiness in simplicity. Living without expectations allows us to fully enjoy the present moment. The purpose of life is not to seek happiness on the outside, but to cultivate it from within. Knowing yourself is the first step to finding inner peace. Those who understand this do not get carried away by the chaos of the outside world. Life is a constant lesson in learning and growth. As we get to know ourselves better, we can overcome challenges more easily and find true happiness in our own lives. A life well lived is not necessarily a long one. Often, the man who suffers sooner than necessary carries more than his share of the burden. True happiness resides in the present, without anxiety about the future. A mind obsessed with tomorrow is destined to unhappiness. All cruelty has its origin in weakness. Many times, we suffer more from our perceptions and imaginations than from reality itself. We fall in love when we idealize another person beyond what he or she really is, but when that illusion fades, so does love. Only he who dares to defy the absurd has the capacity to achieve the impossible. In my experience, facing my own soul has been one of the most difficult tests, sometimes an ally and sometimes an adversary. Women long to be loved for who they are in essence, not for their superficial attributes. Time is only the distance between our memories. When we stop living in the past or the future, time loses its meaning, and love ceases to be a struggle. Sharing our weaknesses and difficulties can be more enriching to others than boasting about our achievements. By loving and respecting others, we help them break down the barriers that prevent them from showing their true value. Often, what irritates us about others offers us an opportunity to better understand ourselves. Happiness and sadness are like two sides of the same coin, one does not exist without the other. Man needs challenges to grow, they are like the fertilizer that nourishes his soul. True loneliness does not come from the lack of company, but from the inability to express what we consider important or to defend our convictions. Life truly begins when we venture beyond our comfort zone. Life's biggest problems are like mazes with no way out, yet finding meaning in them is what gets us through. Do not cling to those who leave, for every goodbye is an opportunity to meet new people. Doubt is not a denial of faith, but an intrinsic part of it. The first duty of love is to listen, and true courage lies in accepting ourselves as we are, with all our imperfections. Health is life's most precious treasure, and a healthy beggar can be richer than a sick king. Hope, if fed to excess, can become a burden, for it prolongs our sufferings. No one can build the bridge that will carry us across our challenges, only our own willpower can help us cross them. Sleep is the toll we pay for life, and the higher the price, the stronger our willpower will be to face the challenges that fate has in store for us. It is wise to take time to nourish our minds with the writings of others, for then we can easily achieve what others have achieved with effort. We, as human beings, tend to adopt the habits of those with whom we associate, absorbing their interests, opinions, values, and ways of interpreting life. Laziness, if we allow it to grow during trivial conversations, makes us superficial, focusing our attention on the insignificant. Controlling anger prevents us from falling into this trap. The most admirable courage is to see an individual face adversity with determination. If we choose not to feel hurt, we avoid pain. Limit yourself to living in the present. Your thoughts determine the quality of your mind and the tone of your soul. Instead of longing for what you don't have, be grateful for what you do have. Sometimes giving in leads to winning, and keeping a low profile can be strategic. Excessive pride leads to disaster. Modesty in speech and excellence in actions are signs of greatness. Treat others as you would like to be treated, and you will cultivate benevolence. Longing arises when we are close to the distant, and those who have not tasted bitterness cannot appreciate sweetness. It is difficult not to deceive oneself, but honesty with oneself is essential for clear thinking. Forgiveness frees us for action and freedom. To love is to risk being vulnerable. Crying has its moment, but knowing when to stop is crucial. A proud man always looks down, missing the view of what is above him. Words can hurt, but silence can break the heart. An intelligent person shows no emotion in situations of ignorance, personal success, or deep disappointment. We always admire what we do not fully understand. Do you want people to think well of you? Then speak well of yourself. Distraction can be an escape, but it can also become a trap. The true meaning of life is revealed through dreams and aspirations. We have two lives, and the second life begins when we realize that we have only one. If man has 2 ears and 1 mouth, it is to hear twice as much as he speaks. At birth, everyone laughs while you are the only one who cries. Direct your life so that in the end everyone cries and you are the only one who smiles. Silence is a faithful friend who never betrays. Demand much of yourself and eventually little of others to save yourself a lot of trouble. Many seek happiness on the mountaintop, but true contentment brings joy even in poverty, while discontent breeds misery even in wealth. No stone can be polished without friction, no man can perfect his experience without trials. He who loves to learn is but a step away from knowledge. Today I have acquired bread to subsist and gathered flowers to find beauty in life. It doesn't matter if you advance slowly, as long as you don't stop. I know nothing of life, what shall I know of death? To learn without reflecting is vain, to reflect without learning is dangerous. When words lose their essence, people's freedom vanishes. Neither too much isolation nor too many relationships, balance is the key to wisdom. I do not seek answers, I seek to understand the questions. Whoever seeks to climb a mountain starts from the bottom. Never praise your own merits, for when your head hits a vessel and it rings hollow, it may not be the vessel that is empty. Experience is a lantern that illuminates only the path traveled. To transcend the goal is not to reach it, to do something remarkable is more valuable than to be noticed. He who seeks revenge should dig 2 graves. A wise man builds walls, a wise woman tears down barriers. Teaching to fish is preferable to giving a fish, for one of the few certainties of life is the need to feed. The greatest traveler is he who explores his own self. Choose a job you love and you will never have to work a day in your life. Sometimes crops fail to bloom, sometimes, after blooming, they fail to bear fruit. To read or hear without reflection is a waste of time, to think without guidance or knowledge is foolhardy. True knowledge is to recognize one's own ignorance. Greatness manifests itself in serenity. Life is simple, but we tend to complicate it. If you meet a virtuous man, imitate him. If you stumble upon a mediocre one, reflect on your own shortcomings. The search for happiness is neither in the heights nor in the depths, but in the measure of each man. The dilemma of men is that they often neglect their own way in order to follow the way of others. Insults only dishonor the one who utters them. He who embraces the lessons of wisdom at dawn may find peace at dusk. If one does not understand life, how can one understand death? He who moves a mountain begins with small stones. One word may confer wisdom, while another may brand him as impulsive. Demand much of yourself and little of others. This balance can bring out the best in life and drive away animosity. True greatness is not in not falling, but in rising after every fall. Nature makes us equal, but society differentiates us. Sometimes a picture is worth 1,000 words. Life, in the end, should arouse the desire to have lived it to the fullest. You used to learn by yourself, now you learn to impose yourself on others. Do not seek to attract attention, but to perform remarkable deeds. Can a man be less wise than a bird? If we aspire to be fully human, there will be no room for evil. The wise man reflects on his mistakes, while the fool seeks to blame others. Experience is a light that only illuminates those who carry it. To fear not to be understood by men is of less concern than to misunderstand oneself. The true fault is that which is not amended. Joy is in everything, we must only know how to find it instead of cursing the darkness. Let us light a candle, however small. To learn is to live with the fear of not reaching the goal and losing one's way. The only wealth that rulers must possess is justice and equity. No stone can be polished without friction, nor can any man perfect his experience without trials. The honest man makes demands on himself, while the vulgar man makes demands on others. With a little rice, water, and a place to lay our heads, we can find satisfaction. To solve a problem and withdraw without boasting is a sign of true mastery. He who obeys correctly will be worthy of command. 2 men who follow opposite paths will never meet. It takes 3 years to learn to speak, but a lifetime to learn to listen. What is crucial is not what happens to us, but how we react to it. To erect something tall, we must first dig deep. Rotten wood cannot be hewn. Nothing great has ever been achieved without enthusiasm. Keep a fair balance in everything you do. The superior man forgets insults, but never the benefits received. I can do nothing for one who asks no questions. Excess is no better than insufficiency. A diamond with a flaw is preferable to a perfect stone stained with blood. Wherever you go, go with all your heart. The less you strive to love, the farther you will be from it. Dear, dear. I invite you to share in the comments the phrase that you liked or inspired you the most. If you want more inspiring content full of wisdom like this, Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any video. See you in the next video. May wisdom and love guide every step of your way.